Hi everyone, my name is Dave, and welcome to Extra Credit, a video series where we take an unscripted look at topics related to local history and exploring that history. Okay, so as we normally do, before we get into the episode itself, just a reminder to first of all visit my website. You're going to find a link in the description. There you're going to find all kinds of information related to the explorations that we do and the topics that we take a look at in this video series and others. Additionally, you're going to find a section dedicated to Extra Credit. So in that section, you're going to find all of the past episodes. So if you haven't seen an episode in a while, you can go back and take a look at one. Or if you're new to this, you can have a look at things that we've taken a look at in the past. There's all kinds of topics related to specific areas or gear or things like that. So please make sure you check that out. Also, you can find me on social media. So make sure you have a look at my pages on Facebook, on Twitter or X, and Instagram. And last but not least, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. There's all kinds of content that drops fairly regularly on this channel, particularly in the spring and the fall when we're actively hiking. And so please make sure that you get that content. So basically, if you're waiting for it to come out on social media, there's always a lag, there's always a delay. But by subscribing, turning on the notifications, you're going to get that content as soon as it's posted. Okay, so as you saw in the title, this is a part two to an episode called Getting There. In part one, what we did was we basically talked a little bit about actually getting out to our hikes, to our explorations. Over the years, what we've done is we've done things like gear reviews, the hiking gear that I use. We've talked about the photographic and the video gear that I use. We've talked about bikes. We've talked about trailers. Okay. We actually haven't talked about the process of getting out to the hikes themselves. And so what I decided to do was maybe this was a time to talk about that, to actually get out to these places, how I'm doing that, what are my recommendations, that will help you out in the process. So in the last episode, we talked about things like vehicles, we talked about things like tires, we talked about things, to help out if you're bringing your fur babies along with you, okay? So this episode is all about the actual process of getting out to the locations. So I did mention that in some cases, these hikes take a while to get out to, okay? So we're filming these episodes at camp, and basically we're driving from camp to these hike locations, and camp is 50 minutes from home, right? And so that is helping to shorten the time to get where we need to go. But then you're still driving in many cases pretty far. Like I said, there are places that are close past like Pearl that are literally just down the road, 5 or 10 minutes away. But if I'm going to a place like Jellicoe, or we're going to Geraldton, they're ways away. So in this case, what you're going to see in this episode is you're going to see me leaving camp and driving to Kinghorn Road, which is to the east of Jellicoe. It's in the municipality of Greenstone. I think you're going to hear me say in the episode, it's from here, it's about 201 kilometers to go to Kinghorn Road. I'm just gonna very quickly look this up on my phone here and see what it says. How far away it is. It says it's 2 hours and 5 minutes, 187 kilometers. This one says. I'm pretty sure the last time it said 201 on my vehicle GPS. All right, so it is a fairly long drive. And so, I mean, it is a process to get out to these hikes, and especially it's not as bad in the springtime because of the seasonal changes, and it's a little bit brighter in the morning, but in the fall time. So this video was recorded on the 7th of October, so the weekend of Canadian Thanksgiving, the Saturday. And so we were basically leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning because it was going to be a 2-hour drive. We need to get there. We need to set up the trailer because we were using the trailer that day. And so it's pitch black when you're leaving. You're driving in the pitch black and you're basically chasing daylight, right? So you're heading east, and then eventually the sun starts to come up. And by the time you get to the destination, the sun is up. but it certainly is a process. So without any further ado, let's have a look at the videos.
All right, it's 6:03 in the morning. We're getting ready to leave here. It's dark, it's cold. Truck showing 3 degrees. Make sure I turn on my bum warmer here. Okay, got the toque on because it's cold. Need everything to thaw out here. I think Luna's ready to go. So just need to be able to see something out of the windshield here. Okay, turn this off. Hands are cold. So last week we went hiking. It was like 16, 17 degrees in the morning. And today it's 3. My phone said it was 1. So it's a tad bit more chilly. Looks like there's little flakies coming down outside. It's so cold. So, you'll probably hear me talk about it on the actual hike, but today the high is not supposed to be very high. On Monday, it was 30 degrees. So quite the temperature swing. So literally going from sweating to death to freezing to death. Made sure I brought my skull cap. I have my skull cap. Yep, I got my skull cap, got my gloves, got layers on. Still a little bit under the weather. Feel much better than I did last week and even during this week. Still a little sniffle. So I'm going to switch off, and then we'll come back and chat in a bit. All right, probably can't see me very well, but I'm here. We're chasing some daylight here. It's 7:23. We are just passing, or just about to pass McDermott. The McDermott Tunnel is right beside us here. Just to our left, just to the west, is McDermott and the First Nation community of Pinchituabik, Ziging, and Anishinabek. It's crispy 1 degree Celsius outside. So I'm worried about cloud, but right now it looks like there's not a cloud to be found. It's cleared up, but it's going to be cold and windy. Cold front that swept through. So, not particularly toasty. We have 43 minutes still to go. 63 kilometers before we turn off on Kinghorn Road. Minutes into our drive. Just got the ice possible warning. Drive with care. Done almost 123 kilometers. Total was 201 or so. So that's what the GPS said. Alright, so we're rolling again. We've now turned onto Kinghorn Road, and we've got just under 3 kilometers to go down this road to get to the railway grade. Luna's excited. She's got her head out the window, she normally does. Actually not bad. So obviously the road was named after, I'm guessing, the station. And then there's a set of waterfalls on the river. Most people call it the Sturgeon, but its proper name is the Namiwa Minneconne River. And I don't know the origins of Kinghorn. There's a place in Scotland called Kinghorn, so William Mackenzie was Scottish, so could have been named after somewhere in Scotland, I guess. yesterday. So, big puddle here. Been very dry this fall, like well below average precipitation, just causing a little bit of concern. Had a pretty dry go around. It was very dry spring. It's okay in the summer, and then it's been dry here in the fall.
In 500 meters, arrive at Kinghorn access.
Let's get Nancy. What the heck is going on here? Logging? Some logging equipment here.
Arriving at Kinghorn access.
Alright, so the railway grade is just over there. And we're going to turn around and park somewhere here. I was quite excited. All right, so we've arrived at our destination here. So hopefully you've enjoyed our little drive.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. I do apologize the fact that there were points where you really couldn't see me, particularly that middle clip where we were driving near McDermott, and you know, basically there was one spot where we passed. There's some street lights, or highway lights, I guess you can call them, where McDermott Road is, and you could see me. And then there was one point, I think a car drove by, and you could kind of see my face. Otherwise, you were just basically looking at a black screen with a little bit of daylight at the top. Unfortunately, I don't have a camera that can sort of do infrared or real low light ability, and the GoPros are not particularly great with low light conditions, so my apologies for that. But anyway, hopefully you got a little bit of an idea of sort of the process of driving and how long that can be. And again, in many cases the drive is way longer than the actual hike. So, you know, typically a hike may take me 2, 3, 4 hours, and oftentimes I'm driving longer than that to get there and back, which is in the case of the one that we did, this one here, ended up being a little bit longer, just because it was a longer hike. It was about a 5-mile hike, and there was a bunch of things to see. Then we did the drone, so that one ended up being probably about everything said and done, probably 4.5 hours or so, and then the drive was about 4 hours or so, a little over 4 hours to get there and back. So again, it is a long process. Now, if this episode interests you, I am sort of thinking a little bit about doing an additional episode this coming spring. So we will be going to Long Lac. In the past, we have been to Long Lac before, but we did it on at a time when we were already camped out in Geraldton. So we did a week in Geraldton, and then we went to Long Lac, and it's just literally little ways down the road. So this time we're actually going to be driving from camp here to Long Lac, and it's going to be probably about a 2-hour 45-minute drive to get to Long Lac, to actually do the things that we need to do. So it's going to be sort of a long process. Luna's coming for a visit here. So anyway, so stay tuned for that, and we'll try to make that one happen. In any case, hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the process of getting out to some of these locations, particularly the ones that are much further away. We are going to be back with next month with yet another episode. So please make sure you stay tuned for that. So in any case, in the meantime, thanks for tuning in and stay safe.